Hello everyone, this is John from Intrigue Gaming, and today we're going to take a look at my Game Gear collection. So sit tight and enjoy. The first thing in my collection I'm going to show you is probably the most important, and it's the only thing that's complete, and that is the Game Gear itself, complete in box. This is the version that came with Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a real nice, crisp copy of it in the little protector. Came with the manuals and the styrofoam insert, and of course, the most important part, the actual Game Gear itself. Unfortunately, the sound's a little weird, so I believe I need to get it recapped, but you can find a lot of people on eBay that do that for pretty cheap. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the games. Of course, you saw Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one. It plays a little different than the Genesis version. In this one, if you get hit, you lose. All your coins are as one coin, so you have to get that coin back or you'll have zero and you get hit again, you die. But a lot of fun, and it's amazing that such a small system could play a game as fast as this one. Continue with Sonic the Hedgehogs. I have Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with tails. It's pretty cool. The change in this one, it's zoomed out a little more. It's a little more polished than Sonic 1. And instead of losing one coin, you lose a few coins, so you have a chance to get a few coins back after you get hit. But lots of fun. You can't ever go wrong with a Sonic the Hedgehog game. Another Sonic game, the last Sonic game in my collection, is Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble. It's probably my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game on the Game Gear. It's just even more polished than the second one, and you can play as different characters now. You can play as Tails, and it's just fun. It's fun. Here's a game that doesn't get a lot of love as it should, in my opinion. Dragon Crystal. It is a dungeon crawler style game. You walk around the board. It's randomly generated, so every time you play it's different. Upgrade your character, find cool gear and items, and figure out what they do. I wish I had the manual for it, and then I could possibly know what some of the items do. But I've spent hours and hours playing this game. It's really fun, and maybe one day I'll beat it. I don't know, but it's actually a really good game, and you can find it pretty cheap. Most of these Game Gear games you can get on the cheap. Here we have a game. Once you see the gameplay, you'll know exactly what it is. But on the Game Gear, for some reason, it's called Revenge of Kuhn, and it is basically a Wonder Boy game. Just run and fun. Try not to get hit. Don't fall in the holes. I've played this for hours and hours, and I stink at it, and I haven't gotten but to the 4th world. But it doesn't mean it's not fun. I have a lot of fun playing it. You should check it out. This next game is a game that I had as a kid. I had a Game Gear as a kid, and one game. That's the only game I had for it. I had the TV tuner, which I let someone borrow, and they never returned it. Travis, thank you. Turn it. Anyways, the game is the Majors. Pro Baseball. I played this for hours beyond hours. Full seasons, baseball seasons. That's like 100 and some odd games or something. It's insane. But a lot of fun, and still fun to this day. Here's a game that's on a lot of Sega systems and is awesome, especially if you're into tactical strategies games. Shining Force on the Game Gear. Shining Force on the Game Gear is really good. Just tactical strategy in the Shining Force series. It doesn't get much better than this. Unfortunately, this is one of the games that's a little up there in price. And when I say up there, it's not extremely expensive, but it's sought after because it's that good. So if you find it on the cheap, pick it up. This game, Fantasy Zone, ported to the Game Gear, is amazing. It's like any other Fantasy Zone. They've done a really good job at it. Fly around, shoot everything you can, upgrade your ship, meet a boss, kill a boss, die by the boss, whatever it may be, and try again. Lots of fun. Really glad to add this to my collection. This game is a Sega classic, and one that I don't know, just could never get into it. and maybe my second least favorite game in my Game Gear collection, and that is Lemmings for the Game Gear. It plays like any other Lemmings game. You have these little guys, and you try to get to the goal. You have to get so many to the goal and get through the obstacles, and just not my type of game, especially for the Game Gear. So I haven't played this one a lot, but you might have fun with it. This game was recommended to me by a friend, Jesse McFluff's SpiderMan on the Game Gear. At first, it took me a minute to get into it. I didn't really understand the controls or how to fight properly. But once you do understand it, it's a really good game. It's almost set up like an animated comic with the cutscenes after each level. A lot of fun, and you have a time limit. You can beat this game in 30 minutes if you're good enough, which I'm still trying. Unfortunately, this is my least favorite game in my Game Gear collection. I was really excited to buy this game, excited to get it. It's a little bit on the expensive side of Game Gear games, which is $20 to $30 is sort of high mid-range games. And that is Double Dragon. It plays, seems like at 12 frames per second. I don't know, I don't like it. I'm so used to all the other Double Dragons. It's so different. The only saving factor for this game is the music. The intro music is amazing. Just listen. Now that was pretty good. Okay, on to the next game. Next, I have a stack of about 5 games that I was lucky enough to procure off of Radical Reggie. He was selling some of his collection. Gave me an amazing deal, and I have some really awesome games coming up. So don't go anywhere. First one I got was a shooter. There's some good shooters on the Game Gear. This was Hallie Wars. It's about an average shooter. Nothing really to write home about, but it plays well. It's a fun shooter. Didn't really add anything or take anything away from the tried and true formula of shooters, but definitely a good game to have in your collection. It's not very much money, and it's a shooter. What else can I say? It's great. Get it. If you're collecting for Sega Game Gear, you have to have these 2 games in your collection. It's a must on any Sega system that's released on it. That is Streets of Rage. Plays amazingly well for a Game Gear game. I was pretty stoked at how well it did play. It's your classic Streets of Rage beat 'em up, just in Game Gear format, a little less pixels, a lot of fun. And then, if you have that one, you have to have Streets of Rage 2. They really polished it and really made this one stand out to me. It's my favorite of the 2. It is almost exactly the same as the original, just less pixels and lots of fighting. I didn't quite get how to do the frame lock like you can on the Genesis version, but I've almost beat it. I've gotten pretty far. This game has made me curse and get angry and not be a very, very happy person. But I do like it. It's actually really good. And that's Shinobi. Once you learn where the enemies spawn and what they do, then you can play it and get through. There are some cheap deaths. It's just one of those type of retro games that it just takes patience and time. You just play it and remember where they spawn, what they do, and before you know it, you can actually get through it, and you feel an accomplishment after playing through this game. It's actually done really well, and it's a pretty cheap game. Okay, we're down to the last 2 games of my Game Gear collection. I was saving the best for last, and these games are Japanese games. You can play Japanese games on your Sega Game Gear, and I'm really happy to have Sylvan Tell. It plays a lot like a Zelda game. Go to the different dungeons, fight the bosses, fight all the enemies in there, figure out the puzzle, and then get an item that helps you progress the story. I've been playing it using the Mega SG, where I could download the ROM hack of a translation and really be able to get into the story. Great game, must have. And finally, my favorite game in my Game Gear collection, and that is Aleste 2. I am just in shock of how they did this on the Game Gear. It plays super fast. In America, it's known as Power Strike 2. This version is the Japanese version. It's called Aleste 2, and it is the prequel to Musha. Fun shooter, intense waves of enemies, bullets everywhere, everything you would want in a shooter. Plays fast, plays good. I'm almost beat this game. I get so close on every playthrough, and I just choke. Great game. Unfortunately, it's a little up there in price. So you gotta have a good friend like I did and get it on a deal. Anyways, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. Taking a look at my Game Gear collection. Tons of fun games. In the comments, let me know what games you enjoy or what games I should add to the collection. And until next time, I'll see ya.